with a $5 meal deal with new McValue. You pick a McDouble or a McChicken, then get a small fry, a small drink, and a 4-piece McNuggets. That's a lot of McDonald's for not a lot of money.
Prices and participation may vary. McDouble meal $6 in some markets for a limited time only.
Are you feeling stuck in your career or lacking employment at the moment? Experiencing symptoms of job dissatisfaction? You might be suffering from a common condition known as career stagnation. But don't worry, there's a solution. Monster.com. Monster.com offers a comprehensive suite of career-boosting tools designed just for you. Our free resume review and AI interview prep tool will help you stand out from the crowd. Need more guidance? Dive into our career advice articles for expert tips and insights. And don't forget to check out our salary tools to ensure you're getting paid what you're worth. Side effects may include a new job, increased confidence, and a brighter future. Consult Monster.com today and take the first step towards your new career. Ready for your next job opportunity? Visit Monster.com now.
This episode brought to you by the following patrons. Oh my God, she's back again. Leaf Girl, Min, Jason, Madeline, Alyssa, Vixen, Holly, Laura, Jeremy with the laser eyes, Allie, Logan, Libby, Kristen, Tia, and Jonathan. But because it's that special time of the month, we get to shout out our You Can Get It level sponsors, and they are Ghislaine, Callie, Heather, Kathy, Nikki, Knitting Menace, Spooky Lime Pie, Renee, Billy, Charles, Grace, Seth, Sean, Allie, Dr. Voorhees, MD, Amelia, Becca, Aaron, Radioactive Spider, Gwen, Irene, Nate, Naomi, Bex, Laura Lubu, Cameron, Kaylee, Jackie, Alyssa, and Unintentionally Badass, aka Jennifer. And all the patrons want you to know you're loved, you're listened to, and you're a valuable member of this awesome Horror Virgin community. And if you want to hang out with all of us, do so in the Facebook group, where we'll be talking about why we should never get on murder coasters daily.
Okay, so Panera is not good 99% of the time.
It literally kills people.
Only if you're brave enough to drink the lemonade, which I have been. But they have the one stupidly good breakfast pastry.
Yeah.
Record this. Get this down.
Oh, I'm already recording on my recorder.
Yeah, make sure we get this. So it's just puff pastry and cheesy eggs, and you're probably like, Paige, you could make that. And I'm like, I could, but I don't want to, and I've tried, and it's somehow not as good, so fingers crossed that it's on the way to my house.
I haven't been to Panera since that guy walked in on me taking a dump in their bathroom.
Whoa, lucky him.
We can't use that, but that's true.
No,
come on. That is absolutely. I think I've told that story on the podcast at one point, but that is absolutely a true story, and that is the last time I've been there.
I have never heard the story before, but that's incredible.
Paige, the story goes, we were opening up for, I think that was one of the Bret Michaels shows, and we had to be there at 2 p.m. to set up. So we got there, we were set up by 2 p.m., and then by 2:30 we were done. And so we had to be back at the venue at 7. So we went to a Panera to hang out. And I think no joke, I think we were redesigning our website.
Yeah, sure. It's perfect for that.
But I went to the bathroom and they only had one stall to shit in. So it was a handicap stall. So it was a very big stall, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in there using the bathroom. Someone comes in, pushes the door that pops open because I had locked it. And the room is so big that once he opened it and froze when he saw me, he had to take 2 more steps in to grab the door and close it. Anyway, never been back to Panera.
Like I said, lucky him.
Gross.
Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
And I'm your Horror Virgin Todd, which means I don't like scary movies and you guys make me watch them. And this week, the listeners made us watch the Rube Goldberg franchise Final Destination 3.
What if Death was super into Mythbusters? Yeah, yep.
Is that what the franchise is to you?
Basically.
What if Death was super into Mythbusters is not incorrect. And this movie does feature a creep with the beret.
Oh my God.
And in Mythbusters, he's not a creep, but he does wear a beret.
He's not. He does wear a beret.
So, yeah.
Can I just say that Frankie Cheeks was both my favorite and least favorite character? Tough to do. I mean, he's a terrible character, but played very terribly. Oof.
So it's very funny. I think Frankie Cheeks might be the best outside of porn name I've heard.
Right.
What's his middle name, Paige? Clappin'?
Clapping him. Yeah.
It's a family name. We're from Eastern Europe. Clappin' him.
I thought for sure we were going to reveal that Frankie Cheeks was a nickname and it was some variation of Clappin' Cheeks or whatever until we just learned that his name is Franklin Cheeks.
Yeah, Franklin Clappin' Cheeks.
Clappin' Cheeks.
Yeah, so Paige, was this the first time you saw it? Let me start there.
Yeah. Because
It was my first time too.
I'm gonna be crucified for this, but I'm gonna say it. Once you've seen one Final Destination movie, you've basically seen them all.
Yeah, it really is just Control F, find the kills from the last one and insert a different kill.
Or insert a different kill.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I will say about this movie. This movie feels like someone's mom left directions on how to microwave Final Destination 1 and 2, and then we're watching a teenager follow those directions to the letter as they're like, okay, put it in. Like,
It does feel like someone aggressively following the formula. I know what you're saying, because it is.
like if Final Destination was a coloring book, they're like, stay in the lines.
Stay on target.
In the lines.
Stay on target.
And so, because of that, a few things happen. A, this will not take us long to talk about today. Not much fucking happens in this movie. Because B, they spend so long in this movie setting kills up that I forgot what I'm supposed to be anticipating, which is kind of the first movie does it best, where they're like, it's this, no, it's this, and it's like a real quick misdirect. This one knows you're looking for that, so it's like nails, nail gun, ladder, knock over the shelf, knock over the soap, knock over the forklift.
Oh, yeah. This one is it's like Rube Goldberg produced this movie specifically.
Yes.
Because it is a whole long, convoluted setup for each kill. But like Paige, I was kind of here for it.
I'm kind of here for this movie.
Because when it's happening, you're like, hell yeah, here we go.
All right,
Why would
all
the
right.
truck be that crazy while it's like not being driven by anybody? Like, it is driving. Like, that is we can't see it, but death is behind the wheel. Like, for sure.
How'd they not realize that the guy they're looking for is literally in the car in front of them the entire time? Okay, so but because it takes so long to do the kills.
I know.
You spend 30 minutes of a 90-minute movie just setting up kills. So they don't even have time for story because this movie is 92 minutes long, which again, perfect length for a movie like this, but paced crazy. And so you're kind of like, is that it? Like, this is all we're going to do?
It does kind of feel like you're watching a like gory Scooby-Doo episode because there's not a ton of plot.
There's none.
But I do think that like this is what people want from the Final Destination franchise.
100%.
And I definitely got what I wanted out of this, and it was a less scary version. And I think you brought it up, but I was going to bring up the fact that the kills take so long to set up, and they're like, it's very like Mousetrap.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Candle in a paper boat. Candle in a paper boat.
yeah.
Yes.
So for me, it's not the gore that scares me. It's like the jumpiness of it. It's like the startly of it.
Sure.
And I didn't get startled at all in this movie because it's like watching the commercial for the board game Mousetrap. But I was also kind of here for the kills because that allowed me to not be scared, so I could be like, oh, hell yeah. Is he going to get run over in the driveway? How does a truck that doesn't have a driver turn like that? Like, I got to like experience the joy and fun of like the build up to the kill, and I kind of enjoyed that. I also think that this movie was super brave, and I'll tell you why. Because like, I think there is like something from history that has been given a pass and aggressively shouldn't have been given a pass. And this movie like calls it out in a very fun way. Like, who needs bifocals or like the oven or democracy? Fuck you, Ben Franklin. Eat a dick. Sorry. I thought that line was so funny to me that he was like, fuck you, Ben Franklin. That guy is just a reenactor doing his job. Like, he hates he has to talk about a kite and electricity wearing that clothing. Like, I thought that shit was so funny, though. I was like, yeah, fuck you, Ben Franklin.
Doesn't Ben Franklin have syphilis? He does, but I don't. I'm Gary. That's my favorite Office episode where they hire a Ben Franklin impersonator instead of a stripper. It's one of my favorite Office episodes that's ever been made.
The guy who plays Ben Franklin, solid. Love that guy.
Solid.
One of the best improvers out there.
Yeah, hey, and I don't know if you know this about him, but snakes can't hurt him, and there are no snakes.
It is the same guy. Okay, so yeah, it is the same guy who does the voice of L. Ron Hubbard on the Paul F. Tompkins podcast, Dead Authors podcast, where he plays L. Ron Hubbard.
Boy, does he nail that impression too. But okay, I had some questions about the Ben Franklin part, and I landed on that there might be an explanation that technically works and I'm dumb, but it's also super confusing in the movie, the way they're representing it. They are going to celebrate a tricentennial.
Yes.
For their town.
Yeah, so it's Northeast. It's got to be Northeast somewhere.
It's got to be Northeast, of course. McKinley. But that means 1670.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. 16. No, that means, when did this come out?
1770.
Well, 1770 is when the country was founded. So tricentennial would be 2076.
You're right.
This is the problem I had, Todd, because I was like,
yeah, no, you're right.
Fucking tricentennial.
Yeah.
But it's the town. And so it's whenever this movie was made, which is like 1999. So like 1690 something.
This movie came out in 2006, I think.
Okay, so 1706.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more. Now that's making slightly more sense.
Does it make more sense? Ben Franklin may have been born in 1706, but Ben Franklin was a Ben baby. He was a child-ass child.
Yes,
but Paige, I think what you're doing is putting thought into this movie, which you absolutely should not do.
No,
ever.
my first thought was like, tricentennial. Is this movie taking place in 2076? Which would be insane. That'd be so crazy.
That would be crazy. Yeah.
And I was like, it can't be it. I was like, it's got to be the city's tricentennial. So whatever city they're in is in a part of the U.S. that predates being the U.S. and it's like 1706 or whatever. But they're representing it with everything for the Revolutionary War, which doesn't happen for another 70 years.
Right? We haven't even thrown tea into a harbor yet.
Yes, that's why it's so confusing. I'm like, tricentennial, what the fuck are they fireworks?
I mean, fireworks did exist way before we had them in the U.S., but yeah.
In ancient China, of course.
Yeah. Have you not seen Mulan, Paige?
I have, and I love it. But like, yeah, boy, was I confused for about 4 seconds of like, what in the name of math?
I mean, but it's better. Okay, but Paige, if it had been like a young boy talking about how one day he was going to invent electricity or whatever.
That would have been way funnier for me.
And then he says, fuck you, Ben Franklin, to that child. I would have lost my mind.
That would have been so much better.
Because none of that would have made sense to me. But like, seriously, all we're doing here is thinking about a movie no thought went into. And that is a dangerous thing to do. We have learned many times on this show.
But here's what I will say. Within the paint by numbers of it all.
Yeah.
No one's giving a bad performance. Like, it's not.
Paige. Oh, okay. Paige. Really? I mean, okay. No one's giving a bad performance if they were being asked to act like the hand-drawn caricature of themselves that they would get on the beach boardwalk.
Yes,
I can't explain it other than that's how everyone's kind of acting all of the time.
Giant teeth.
Yes.
Got it. Skateboard, surfboard. Yes.
Everyone's chewing scenery. Although Mary Elizabeth Winstead's great. She's great in every movie she's in.
She's great. She's a great actress.
Yeah.
She's doing her best.
And honestly, there are people in this movie I've seen in tons of other things that are great in other things as well.
And honestly, no, my thing is the guy who plays Kevin, who I just have in my notes a bunch of times as Luck of the Irish because he was in a bunch of Disney Channel original films. This is the best I've ever seen him in anything. And I think it's just because he's not Disney acting. And like, because there is, I know you were poor, but I know that you must know this. Like,
oh my God. That was so casually offensive and hilarious. I know you were poor, but like,
I know you were
let
poor.
me explain TV to you, Todd.
But I know that you know what I mean when I say Disney acting.
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. Yes, I am not at all upset. That shit was hilarious.
But like, he's like regular acting, great. But like, there's not much else you could do within the paint by numbers of the movie.
Agree.
And so I'm like, everyone's doing fine. You know, they're doing what is asked of them.
Everyone is doing fine. I just think everyone has probably done other work than this because this movie did good.
Sure.
And everyone's sort of fine in it. But I'm sure they've done better work than this movie. You know?
Look.
I've seen Mary Elizabeth. She was in 10 Cloverfield Lane, and she is so good in that movie. So like comparing her acting in this movie to that movie seems silly to me because she's just asked to do way less in this movie.
Great screams though.
Oh, yeah.
Great screams.
Yeah.
When that roller coaster comes off the tracks and she's like, "No, Jason!" I was like, "Girl, okay."
That's exactly what I said when Jason just walked away from me after I said I was the Jason of my group. Sorry.
I tried to back off the mic enough, but I don't know if I did. I'm sorry, Natalie.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
But either way, fuck you, Ben Franklin.
Fuck you, Ben Franklin.
I am sort of coming to realize now that we're talking that I think like the Final Destination franchise, as a franchise, it's not, I don't know, I don't quite understand how it works. Like, is it just people who have public transit, like premonition that like can start the loop? I don't understand how it picks the person that's going to have the premonition. Is it just people who hate public transit of any kind?
I mean, then I am definitely doomed.
Because it's been a plane, a roller coaster, a train at the end of this one.
I like that you think a roller coaster is public transportation.
It's crazy to me that you think it's not. It's public transit for the purpose of entertainment.
You know what? Now that you say it, you're not wrong.
I've never once been wrong, never.
Never, ever. I know we watched the second one, and I know there was that whole thing of them like holing up in an apartment trying to beat it, and I remember nothing else of that movie other than the logs.
That's what it was. So it was, they were in a car. Yeah.
They were in a car.
They were carpooling. That's public transit. Come on.
It's group transit at minimum.
The joke still holds.
It does. I think other later Final Destinations get into this. I haven't seen them because, again, it's like, I feel like with these movies, if you've seen one, you've seen kind of the best one. I liked this one better than 2, even though 2 has the logs and everyone remembers the logs. But like, when you look at other franchises with tons of movies, part of the reason they have so many is because they do bonkers shit in every movie. Like, there are no 2 Friday the 13th that are alike. They're fucking nuts. Like, they're crazy. Like, Jason he's coming back from the dead. Some girl's psychic. They're in New York.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like Nightmare, where it's like this one is secretly like fully closeted homoeroticism where a bird explodes.
Yeah.
This one has amazing effects, but like they're dream warriors, and this one's like a whole different thing. Like, there's no way to do that with Final Destination, really. And so, like, even I saw the trailer for the new Final Destination that's coming out this year, and I was like, same old shit. Like, same old shit. It's just doing the same shit.
I mean, we'll see. I haven't seen any ones other than the ones we've done for the podcast, but they've all seemed very similar to me. Although it is like, okay, just how elaborately can you kill someone in this location, right? Because all the kills, even though they're not at a theme park the whole time, all the kills are kind of theme parkish.
Yeah, a little bit. That is kind of fun. The new trailer, it's a guy in a tattoo studio, and it's like his piercing gets caught on a ceiling fan,
His piercing gets caught on a ceiling fan?
Yes.
Is he jumping on the tattoo parlor trampoline?
I'm not even going to go into it, just because they showed it before Freaky Tales when I went and saw Freaky Tales again in the theater. And I literally, in the theater, because there was only like 6 people there, audibly went, oh, yeah. Same shit. But I do know that the mythology within Final Destination is that you can't cheat death.
Right.
If you avoid dying when you were supposed to die, death will try to come for you. And the personification of death is typically Tony Todd. Now, in this movie, we only hear his voiceover. We don't like see him in this one. But I feel like that is one of the few areas in this franchise that you could really jump off of and do something kind of different every time, but they don't.
Man, wouldn't it be cool if Tony Todd was just like a slasher version of death?
I mean, yeah.
That'd be dope.
I mean, we can't really do that anymore, unfortunately.
I know.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
But I know the new one is one of the last things he ever filmed, and he is in it.
Okay, cool.
So, like, that'll be cool. But, like, yeah, no, I do feel like, but what you're describing, I think, is like Reverse Blade.
It is Reverse Blade. You're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that until you said it, and then I was like, shit, that is Reverse Blade.
And honestly, that makes me want it more.
Yeah.
It just makes me want it more. Oh God. Okay. I'm saying this now.
Okay.
Because we're ahead, so this is gonna come out in a while. We're recording this in mid-April. This episode's not gonna come out for a bit.
Yeah.
I saw a trailer for Sinners and was like, okay, that looks interesting. And then thank you, Tia, for sending me a message that was like, have you listened to the interview about Sinners on Last Podcast on the Left? I was like, no, I'll go do that right now. That made me fucking pumped. And I was like, I got to see this movie right fucking now.
Yeah, people in the Facebook group have been talking about it already, and it just came out.
All of my coolest film friends got into a couple early screenings. I got invited to one and couldn't fucking go because I got to go be a comedian and shit. And all of them, every single one of them has come back and been like, that's the fucking wildest movie of the year. And I'm like, motherfucker. And I just need to see it. So like, much like Freaky Tales that we will eventually do an episode on when y'all can see it, we will do a Sinners episode. I need to see and talk about this movie. I'm so excited. Go see it so I can talk about it. By the time this comes out, you should all be able to go to a theater and see it, in theory.
In theory, you should be able to, yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about this movie.
Yeah, but Paige, maybe we should just go through this movie scene by scene.
Sure. We open on a fortune teller and a carnival and theme park credits that take almost 3 whole minutes.
I mean, Paige, this movie is 92 minutes and it only needs 80, you know? So it's gonna have some long ending credits and some long opening credits.
If you tightened the editing on every kill and tightened the opening credits, this movie wouldn't be long enough to be a feature.
This movie would have been aired on the CW at the time. Like, that's how long that would have been. It would have been an episode of Smallville or something.
We would have missed the pretty good effects of Frankie Cheeks' kill, but other than that, we would not miss much. Oh, and no titties. Anyway, we open on a theme park where they are on one of those drop rides, like Tower of Terror kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Mary Elizabeth Winstead has not ridden the ride. She's down at the bottom taking pics for the yearbook. And as the ride drops, the thing that says high dive says high die because the V blinks out. Because this movie will spend, and I timed it, 21 minutes just leaving air quotes clues around this theme park.
I love it.
20 minutes.
I know. It's a long cold open, man.
20 minutes. And it's not even a cold open. That's where your first act break should be.
True.
Which it's your first act break, right?
You're right.
There is no cold open to this movie. And I was trying to remember how long it took in the first Final Destination before he's like, don't get on the plane. And I was like, 7 minutes? It's not that long, I don't think. But she's walking around this theme park, basically just like setting up the clues that we'll need for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So like they want to go on the roller coaster. She doesn't super want to go. And they're like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's going to come back in the movie later on.
I mean, what doesn't kill you just comes back to kill you at the end. Like, that's what I learned in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. What doesn't kill you comes back to kill you. It's definitely gonna kill you.
It still works. It still works lyrically, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they stop for food, and it's her boyfriend, her best friend, and her best friend's boyfriend, Kevin. Jason, I believe, is her boyfriend's name. I don't remember her best friend's name. Doesn't matter.
Sadly, it doesn't matter because she about to die. With her boyfriend, Jason.
Yeah.
Who had broader shoulders, so Paige deemed it worthy to remember his name.
No, I was more into Kevin, but whatever. Letterman jackets make shoulders look bigger. This was a trick of the high school, optics. But they stop for food, and then they're going to go get on this roller coaster after. But while they're, eating, one of the boys, and I think it's actually Kevin, who we're supposed to follow as the romantic lead sort of through the rest of the movie.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Takes the yearbook camera and upskirts a girl. And everyone's just like, ha ha ha, delete it. And I'm like,
I know.
What? No. What is happening?
The fact that his girlfriend just rolls her eyes at him when she sees him do this is crazy to me.
That's Kevin.
Although when he gets up and walks away, she is like, I'm going to break up with him when summer gets here because what the hell? What are we even doing?
Well, and yes, I got the Panera soufflés. Sorry. 3 minutes away from my home. But yes, they paint him as terrible. Or in this like early scene, because she's like, how could you put up with it? I know, right? He's the fucking worst. I'm going to break up with him after graduation. But then the movie after this point will ask you to find him sympathetic and secure and safe for the rest of the movie. And I was like, upskirt guy? Like, come on.
I mean, fortunately, everyone for the rest of the movie is safe because they're wearing pants.
Hey.
No, I mean, this is like, I think one of those things that's like, I guess maybe of the time, but like, even at the time, you could get arrested for this. Like, it's illegal.
2006, I graduated high school in 2006 and then started college the next fall. No, it was not acceptable.
That's what I said, yeah.
This was the thing that people were already warning people about.
I know. It was illegal at the time. And she's probably underage.
Yeah.
So this would be like a huge problem.
I mean, here's what I will say. They hadn't really solidified the laws around underage people trading photos with each other yet. That's something that's a lot more strict now. And at the time, they were just kind of like, what do you mean kids are taking photos? Because like smartphones were new. So like this is like the first couple generations of iPhone that like they were just about to get cameras. Like that's how early this is.
I don't think the smartphones had cameras at this point. This is 2006.
They did. The only reason I know they did is because I had one but I actually had, it's not a smartphone, but it's like what would become the smartphone. I had a Motorola Sliver.
I remember the Sliver.
At this point, I had a hot pink Sliver, and boy, would I kill to have a hot pink Sliver again. It was the coolest fucking phone. I had a hot pink Sliver, and then the Razor was the other one, and both of those could take pictures, but they were just like grainy, like
yeah. I mean, they weren't smartphones. Like the iPhone didn't come out until I think 2007, 2008. I can't. It was like
right.
It was around this time, but later than this.
So there were. I want to say like we're about to get the first version, but like it's not until version 1 or 2 that people are like, oh fuck yeah, the iPhone. And so like we're about 5 years away from everyone having an iPhone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But everyone had digital cameras, literally everyone, and you carried them everywhere all the time. It used to be like a thing you would also have with you.
If you were of a certain income level, don't yell at me again for being poor growing up. But yeah, like a lot of my friends did have them. Yeah.
That was, I mean, it was something I want to say I saved up and bought with my own money. And I also remember trying to get a new one and not being able to afford it. And so I just had pictures on my phone for a long time because at the time, the camera that she has is like $700. Like it's so expensive compared to what like something like that would be now. This movie is a fun 2006 time capsule.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hang tight. Let me get my souffle.
Go get them soufflés, girl.
Hey, poor. I have to go get my souffle.
Let them eat soufflés is what Paige is saying right now.
Todd, I just need you to look upon this gloriousness and forgive Panera for all the times that you were walked in on while you were pooping.
You say all the times like it was more than once. I mean, that does look good. Like I would eat that. I'm not knocking their food, although their food is gross.
It is. This is the only non-gross thing they have. And their mac and cheese inside a bread bowl is decadent. But so our upskirter is, I guess, the hero.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Creepy. But I honestly, they like try to make him kind of like Frankie Cheeks. And I'm like, you could just have Frankie Cheeks do that. But they're trying to give a reason, I guess, for us to not feel bad that his girlfriend dies. Because his girlfriend's like, I'm breaking up with him after graduation. And later he's going to be like, I was going to ask her to marry me. I was like, first of all, you're like 18, max, maybe 17. Like,
I mean, he is stupid. Yeah. I mean, like when I was 17, I was saying that kind of shit too, because I was an idiot and had been in love no times and thought I had been and just was so dumb. But yeah, like, of course they're not going to get married.
No, but we basically, this starts the photos like that we will need to look at for when people die later. Because it's the two girls with the whale tails with the thongs up.
Right.
It is the infamous tanning bed death that I knew about and didn't realize was in this one.
Which has got to be common amongst Final Destination films. Like, oh, I can't remember where that kill was from, but it was cool.
Yes. I know that this kill has happened. I don't remember where.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair of them to rob us of a Lisa Frankenstein-like movie where those two girls wake up as just vapid zombies.
Paige, they're vapid zombies the whole movie already. What more did you want?
I know, but just to like fully personify as like brains. I don't know, brains. It's the two popular, the hot girls, Ashley and Ashlyn,
right?
Which I loved that they named them Ashley and Ashlyn. I was like,
I honestly love that they just ended up as their first 3 letters of their name.
yeah, ashes.
Yeah, that's the joke, Paige.
The ashes.
Yeah,
but they're playing that game with the clown where you like shoot water in its mouth and pop the balloons. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead goes over, because the guys are like, oh, take a picture of their thongs. And she's like, no. And goes over to see the other side and takes a picture of them winning a giant inflatable palm tree.
Yeah.
Which I like, this was the era of inflatable furniture. So I think that's supposed to be like a room sculpture.
Paige, I wanted to see her carrying it around the rest of the time we see them tonight.
So bad.
Like, just like carrying around this huge fuck off palm tree that is taller than they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, just carrying it. I mean, it's light because it's inflatable. I would have laughed so hard.
Sure.
She just like, or just like she's trying to deflate it and like roll it up and put it in her purse or something. Like, just like the logistics of having to deal with a prize that fucking big in a fair that has been set up in what I'm assuming is your high school parking lot. Like, what the hell? Where are they?
We got to talk about this. They are at a theme park.
Are they? Okay.
Yes, because the roller coaster is like a built-in coaster. It's not just...
It definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I assumed that this was at some specific theme park. And they have like fast passes and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was not put up by the carnival folk in a day, is all I'm saying. Like these been set up for a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she gets the picture of them with the palm tree. Then she gets the picture of the guy doing the like hammer, like the hitting the bell, like the weights guy. And it like busts that bell off the top. And nobody looks up to be like, oh no, I hope it doesn't fall on me. It never comes down.
Paige, they say it's still around there flying. Like it's in space. Actually, so this is an Easter egg for the movie Gravity, but it's what hits the space shuttle that causes the problems at the beginning of the movie Gravity. Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, that is something that I felt like was the case with this movie where multiple of the deaths, I was like, no, that's that person's fault. Like, this isn't an accident at all. It's that person's fault.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that's not something that has happened in many other Final Destination movies.
I mean, that's kind of true. I mean, I'd argue that some people just like kill themselves kind of through like just, not paying attention or whatever.
Well, that's usually what it is in Final Destination movies where somebody's like cooking and then the whole kitchen catches on fire. But like the one that we're about to watch, the one on the roller coaster, the hydraulics are one thing. But without the camera, none of this happens.
Right, because Frankie clapping them cheeks does get off the roller coaster after what we see.
Right.
And, Mary Elizabeth Winstead gets off and, like, causes a scene. You know the formula. So, like, he gets off, and we saw that it was his camera that got wrapped around the tracks that caused the accident. So, like, why did it still crash?
Thank you. We'll get to it in a bit. Anyway, we also meet her sister, who is younger, but is also like, I don't know what happened to this actress. I kind of wish she was in more things because she does kind of crack me up.
Amanda Chu's in a bunch of stuff. Like, she was in Silicon Valley. Yeah, she's still in stuff, man.
She is. Well, she's in a movie that I've wanted to do for Romancing the Pod, but I've only seen it on TV, so I don't know truly how good it is. And it's called Sex Drive.
Okay.
It's a road trip movie. It's like teenagers on a road trip. It's whatever.
Oh, yeah, that came out in 2008.
There you go. But so she is the younger sister and she's there. We then approach the roller coaster where Frankie Cheeks is trying to take a picture of the two ashes cupping the devil's balls. And it's at this point that I want to ask you, why would a giant devil sculpture at an amusement park need or have a dick and balls?
Paige, it's not scary unless it's accurate.
Okay.
You don't think the devil would have a dick and balls?
Oh, I know the devil has a dick and balls, but like, I just don't know why they would sculpt one for people to walk under onto a roller coaster.
They have to like walk under the danglers too. Like it's, yeah.
Yeah, they got to walk under the danglers. Did you see the picture of the world's most perfect coffee table that I found in Monterey like earlier this week?
I don't think so.
Allow me to show it to you.
Okay.
This is applicable. You'll see.
Well, while you're pulling it up, Paige, there's no way as I was walking under those balls, I would not try and jump up and smack them.
Of course, right?
It's a high school senior party lockout thing.
You gotta slap the balls.
There's no way we're not like leaving handprints on the devil's balls. Come on.
Yeah. And there's definitely one worn out patch of ball where the teens have been slapping it for years.
It's like a statue of a dog in Edinburgh where it's been touched on the snoot so much, it's like rubbed it raw.
Exactly.
And honestly, it's such a cute statue, guys. I did it myself. You're not supposed to touch it. Don't touch it. Wow. I did see that photo and I imagined it. I blocked it out, Paige. And then when you saw it, all the trauma just flooded back.
For those of you listening who did not see the photo, it is a giant sculpture of a lion on its back.
Holding up a glass table that you can see through very easily with his paws.
Yeah, and then he's just got a full dick and balls.
Yeah, and there's no way to not see it because it's a glass top.
Spoiler, those dick and balls are like front and center in the table. Like the center of that fucking table. And I was like snapping photos of it and a random guy in the store came up and he was like, wow, you don't see that every day. And I just said, but you could.
That's honestly the only response that works. I love it. That's amazing.
You could come home with you for the low price of God only knows.
Whatever it is, it's too much.
But not enough. Anyway, they're all getting onto the ride. And she is like not feeling it.
Right.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead is like, I didn't slap the balls hard enough. Like,
the devil's never going to let me pass. I didn't smack his balls hard enough. Paige.
You didn't arouse the devil enough by slapping at them balls.
You did not arouse me enough by slapping my balls. You must die.
Wouldst thou like to live maliciously?
You stop it.
You stop it.
I do wish I had the courage that Mary Elizabeth Winstead displays in this scene, because when she is peer pressured to get on the roller coaster, she gets off before it starts.
I've done this.
I wish I had done that when you made me go on a roller coaster.
I'm so sorry. I will never be able to apologize enough. I will never make you do that again.
By the way, it goes backwards. What?
By the way, it goes backwards.
And then we shoot out of there. I was like, oh, we're fucked.
So I really enjoy roller coasters.
I mean, most people do.
Not everybody.
My problem with roller coasters is a me problem. It is not a roller coaster problem. They just make me feel so sick is the problem.
Yeah. Some people just don't like them. That's fine.
Yeah. But it's like, it's a me problem.
I don't like spinning rides.
Yeah.
Those are ones that make me sick.
Yeah, I get it.
So I have pulled a Mary Elizabeth Winstead before on a spinning ride.
You're like, get me out of this goddamn teacup, Dad.
Yeah, okay, so it was at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk.
Paige, 6 years old.
No, Paige like 12 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still saying, get me out of this goddamn teacup, Dad, at 12 would be hilarious to see.
Get me out of this goddamn teacup, Dad. And it's not teacups. It's a similar idea. Teacups I can handle, but it's you're in a spinning car that spins, but then the whole ride is also spinning.
Yeah, I've done that one. Spinning rides actually don't get me as bad. So like
they get me real bad, and everyone else was going on it, and they were like, "Come on, it'll be fine, it'll be fine." I got very peer pressured to go on.
What's that like?
I sat into the ride because part of the reason I don't want to do spinning rides is because I get nauseous. And I hate vomit.
Same.
And so that's like a thing, right? So I sit down and there's vomit stuck under the panel of the ride.
Paige, stop talking
like,
immediately. This is so gross. I hate it so much.
I could see
I
it.
would throw up. Honestly, before we started spinning, probably, if that's what I walked into.
But that was me being like, nope, get me off this fucking ride. And I got off that ride.
Yeah, that to me isn't a I'm scared of spinning rides thing. That to me is a someone threw up here, I'm not sitting on it kind of a thing, which is fine.
It was not fresh. It was old, which made me know that people had been sick on this ride for a long time.
That's even worse.
And I was like, not me, not today. Yes. And people they did not want to let me off that ride. And I cried and
Nice.
threw a fit until they let me off that ride.
Nice.
This is also how I got out of the, when I had a panic attack at the rainforest exhibit. I cried and threw a tantrum until they let me out, but I was like 35 that time.
So I actually remember that happening, and I was like, should we reveal that this was not also when you were 12?
It was when I was 35 and having a full-on arachnophobic panic attack.
Paige really hates spiders, guys. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a real thing about spiders she has.
Like a full body thing.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
Yeah.
And everyone felt terrible because, like, honestly, here's what it was. If there had been an extra moment on the Mummy ride where I could have seen how upset you were about to be, I would have tried to stop the ride and let you off.
If you had gotten the public transit premonition of how much it would have made me feel like I was going to throw up for the next 90 minutes, you'd have been like, Todd, get off. Wait for us. Hold my purse. And I'd have been like, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I would have gone off immediately.
Up until that point, up until the way you looked when I said, oh, also, I forgot to tell you it goes backwards because I had forgotten to tell you.
Which is when we got the picture. Someone was taking a picture of us and you could see my face in that moment. I'm like, good God.
Good God. And I saw that face and I was like, I might have made a grave mistake. And then the roller coaster took off. There was like no time, right? At the exhibit, I must have looked that way or worse because everyone with me was like, no, let her out. Clearly this is about to be bad and we're not going to fight it. She just needs to not be in here. And the people in the exhibit were like, no, it's one way. And I was like, not today. Like, I'm out. And they then confronted the rainforest people. They were like, first of all, you had no warnings that there were just fucking loose spiders in this shit. And secondly, clearly she was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Let her the fuck out.
Yeah, absolutely. Let her the fuck out.
Anyway.
Paige, can I tell you a story about, and this is going to make you a little mad, I think, because you're going to realize how truly dumb I am. But when I was in high school, and I'm going to name drop him because I know he listens to the podcast because we've talked recently on Facebook, but he was a high school friend of mine.
Do it.
He was in the drum line with me, a guy named Joey Keith.
Okay.
Convinced me to go on a roller coaster when we were at Six Flags in Austin or wherever, somewhere in Texas. I can't remember exactly where, but it was in Texas. But he convinced me to go on a roller coaster. He was like, it's the easiest roller coaster in the park. It's called Flashback because it's like a memory of like older roller coasters or whatever.
Oh, because they're like a wooden coaster.
It wasn't wooden, but he was like, it's like an homage to that. And I was like,
Okay.
Oh, great. I can probably handle that. It's like an older school style, slower roller coaster or whatever.
Yeah.
We get there and I'm like, this looks like more modern than like a throwback. He's like, yeah, but it's just because they built it recently. It's not anything. And I was like, okay, whatever. So like we get in, we strap in, and we like are about to go. And he goes, Todd, I lied to you. It's called the Flashback because we do it all backwards.
Oh, no.
And he starts laughing as we shoot out of there. And I just literally cussed him out for 2.5 minutes.
I feel bad because I know you've probably felt terrible for the rest of the day. And I don't like that. But you did swear at us through the Mummy ride as well.
Yeah. Although unlike the Mummy ride, when I got off this ride, I saw the mother and 12-year-old son that she was riding the ride with behind us. And I felt terrible about everything I called my friend Joey.
Nope. Nope.
Anyway, the reason I'm dumb is because people have done that to me twice in my life.
Here's the thing, though. I had legitimately forgotten that it went backwards for the whole second half of the ride.
And it's not like in the name. It's not in the name.
Not in the
name. Like it
name.
was in Flashback. I should have seen that coming. That's my fault.
In my mind, I'm like, it's like faster Indiana Jones. He'll be fine. Is like what I was thinking. Because
Right.
you had said that you like Indiana Jones the ride.
I do like the Indiana Jones ride. Yeah, because it doesn't go like upside down and do crazy shit.
Yeah, right. And I was like, it's like faster Indiana Jones in the dark. It'll be fine. And then as we pulled the thing down, I was like, Indiana Jones doesn't have these. And I was like, oh, right. The backward.
Let's get a photo. Yeah.
By the way, this whole thing goes backwards because I felt like I had to warn you. And if I did not warn you, it was going to be worse.
Yeah. I mean, Joey honestly felt the same way after I was trapped.
Yeah. Yep.
If your dog could talk, they might ask for Ollie, especially after hearing about all the wild ways people try to cheat death in Final Destination 3. Dogs deserve more years of fetch, not just more scares. Ollie's fresh, whole food meals can add 2.5 extra years to your pup's life. Each recipe is gently cooked and delivered fresh, with no fillers or preservatives. Just real human-grade food made in U.S. kitchens. There are 5 drool-worthy flavors, like fresh beef with sweet potatoes or fresh turkey with blueberries. Plus, Ollie is the only fresh dog food with unlimited routine health screenings. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/freshpope, tell them all about your dog, and use code FRESHPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/freshpup and enter code FRESHPUP to get 60% off your first box.
Anyway, but what happens in the movie is like she sees the premonition of all of them dying, and she like sees the order at which all of them die, and obviously she's the final kill of the roller coaster. And then we like zoom back in on her face, and she's like, "Get me off this roller coaster thing. I want to live.
Get me off this crazy thing
called roller coaster."
Let's go through how the roller coaster death would have happened, though, because her premonition, first of all, again, only happens like 20 minutes in. At this point, I like multiple times, because they spend 6 minutes just getting onto the roller coaster.
Right.
And that's after they've already spent 10 minutes around the theme park. And so at this point in my notes, I'm like, have we really spent 15 minutes getting on the damn coaster? That's definitely going to be the thing that kills them. And then we get the premonition that is literally 20 minutes in. And that premonition is like 3 minutes long. Like, it's long, because essentially what happens is there's a warning: you can't have loose objects and you can't have cameras. And we will find out why in this premonition. But it's exactly why you think, because if you have a loose object on a roller coaster, it can fly off and hurt or kill somebody else on the coaster.
Yeah.
So like, we see that Frankie Cheeks has a camera because he wants the girls to flash him on the loop, which, by the way, they're sitting in front of him. They can't turn around.
Paige, also the harness covers both of their boobs. Like, there's no way they could lift their shirt even to reveal it. And even if they did reveal it, they can't like turn their car around to show. He's only into Franklin clapping cheeks. He's not into anything else. Like, he's not smart.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
No. He's also been graduated for 2 years and is still at the senior social. It's not good. It's bad. Everything about this is bad.
No, if we saw a flashback to his older brother asking him why he's still going to the senior social, and his response would have been something like, because they're just turning 18.
Yeah.
Like, he's that kind of terrible. Like, he's that kind of bad person.
Yeah, I get older, they stay the same age. All right.
Right. I didn't want to bring in Matthew McConaughey, but yeah.
You know.
Exactly that vibe.
Yeah. And as they're kind of buckling everyone in, the guy who did the like sledgehammer, what is the name of that carnival game?
I don't know, but his name is
Lewis.
Yeah, it's Lewis. His name is Lewis.
Yeah, he only has a handful of scenes.
But it's the sledgehammer thing where you hit it and it sends the thing into orbit and then possibly kills the guy from ER. What's his name?
Noah Wiley?
No.
George Clooney?
Yeah, and possibly kills George Clooney in the movie Gravity.
I'm sorry, did you just call George Clooney the guy from ER?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, they go to press his harness down because it wasn't tight enough.
Right.
And that, I guess, severs the cord, so it's dripping fluid for the
hydraulics. Yeah.
Hydraulic system for the harnesses.
Yeah, because if the water is not holding the pressure there, it won't hold the harnesses down. So that's
right.
They start to become loose then, and when it hits the camera that he drops onto the tracks, it like separates that, and so they're just flying all over the place from a harness perspective.
Yeah, and so like we see it dripping. They're on the coaster. Everything seems fine. They hit the loop, and that's when Frankie clapping him cheeks is like, show me your titties. And they're like, what the fuck? And it like snags the camera out of his hand.
Yeah.
Tightens it around the tracks, and they're about to hit it, which puts them off the tracks.
Right. It starts breaking the wheels apart. It just like, honestly, it starts the Rube Goldberg-y mousetrap death that is this roller coaster sequence.
But also, how long is this fucking roller coaster?
It's so long, Paige. At one point, they get stuck upside down perfectly in a loop-to-loop. Like, what are we talking about? What is happening right now?
Yeah.
But also, it's hilarious because people are just like hanging on for dear life and falling to their death. It's nuts.
I'll get to that in a second, because first, like, This roller coaster is like 4 times longer than any roller coaster I've ever seen. But like the first thing that happens is like where the camera was, that track gets like off kilter.
Right.
And so it's almost like they run over the track again. And that's what happens, is that it like decouples the front couple cars.
So it switches the tracks like it's a subway car line?
Well, roller coasters do that, but like,
I mean, yeah. Okay.
but it's because one of the rails breaks.
Right. Yeah, we see the break in it. Yeah, that's what causes them to fall ultimately at the end. The cars to fall ultimately at the end.
Right. So the cars fall. But then the rest of the cars continue because it's perpetual motion, right?
Right.
And they end up upside down where all of the harnesses fall. And so people are just like falling out.
Yeah.
You know, and the camera has like already murdered somebody. Like, it's bad. And my thing is, they get to the loop and they are somehow not hanging out of the cars. The harnesses are up and they're seated, but there's no waist bar. It's just the harnesses.
Yeah.
So everyone else is like hanging by the harnesses, which is what would happen.
Well, I mean, they're hanging too. They start swinging.
Yes, but they're in a seated position, which would take all of the core strength in the world.
Yes, I guess that's what they're doing. They're like holding themselves upside down like the world's like most aggressive push-up with your legs in the air.
Okay, American Ninja
Like,
Warrior,
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And then like pushing to, which by the way, yes, that is potentially the way to get out of that, is to rock the coaster one way or the other just so it completes the loop and you're no longer upside down.
Or it goes back down the other loop and you just sort of like
Right.
dangle right side up though, so you can just sit there and wait for help.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're all hanging by the harnesses, that means even if it swings down, you'll probably break your back because you'll fall onto the rod, like, which is what happens. That Kevin gets sliced in half. And then Mary Elizabeth Winstead's like the last one, and eventually she dies on the roller coaster too.
Yeah, she hits the loop that knocked not the loop, but like the broken part of the track that knocked the other cars off last time, and she falls out and then dies, more or less.
Right.
Yeah. But she doesn't, because this is the public transit premonition that always happens, in, the famous trope of all Final Destination movies. So like we see it like zooming on her face, and she's now aware of like what's gonna happen. So she throws a fit like I should have when you forced me to go on the Mummy ride.
Yep. Feel free. I mean, I promised, and I will hold up my promise to never try and talk you onto a ride again. But if for some reason I suddenly get amnesia and try to do that again, feel free to throw a fit. That's fine.
Will do. Yeah. No, will do fully. Yeah.
Use this recording as proof in court. Like, Your Honor, she said I could throw a fit. Anyway, she tries to get everyone off. And a bunch of people get off the ride, but the people who don't are the front car.
Yeah.
And it's her boyfriend and her best friend.
Right.
And a handful of other people that we did not meet because we're not about to follow them for the rest of the movie.
Right. Which it's sort of interesting that it's her boyfriend and her best friend in the front car because they're not like coupled up. But she didn't want to go on the roller coaster really anyway.
Right.
And they can't all four sit in the front car.
Right.
So she was like, I'll sit in the back. It's fine. And he was like, I want to sit up front. And so Jason and Kevin, the upskirt hero of this movie, sort of flip a coin for who's going to sit up front with Kevin's girlfriend who's about to break up with him so he can be romantically available for Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who also survives this roller coaster ride.
Correct. But we cut to ostensibly a couple weeks later, because this is much like Jennifer's Body. A bunch of teens die and it rocks the town.
Right.
Where like graduation is now kind of a memorial thing. There's like pictures of Jason, but like a candle goes out. But Kevin chases her down and is like, hey, you should come to graduation. I think it'd be good for you to be with people. And she's like, yeah, no, like not for me. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm good. I just need to like get out of here and get out of this town and like just start again somewhere else because this is all real sad for me.
I got to start a new life.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey, I was just Googling around, I guess. And he's like, I found out that there was this French class 6 years ago, and this whole thing happened where one of them had a premonition. They got off the plane and then they all died in weird ways. So, chill out. Everything's fine. Like, whatevs. But this is where the two girls are like, come with us to tanning. I think it'll make you feel better. And she's like, no, you know what? That's really kind of you. And thanks for giving me your phone number. But Probably not. They go off to tan.
Which, like, it's a good thing she didn't, Paige.
I know.
Because, like, we see when they get there, like, there's only 2 tanning beds. She would have just had to stand around.
Yeah, she would have just had to wait.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that can happen in a tanning salon.
Yep. Which I have never been tanning. Did you ever tan? This was
No.
the thing at the time.
It was definitely a thing at the time. I dated women who did this often, and it always was like, it truly weirded me out. I actually brought it up to a lady I dated. I was like, it's weird. I don't know. It's weird to me that you do this. But I don't care ultimately. I just thought it was weird.
This was a thing at the time.
I fully don't understand it.
I mean, I guess I understand if people like the look of being more tan. That's why I understand people who do like sunless tanner and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I don't care. Like, if you like doing this, great. It's just something I don't get at all.
This is 2006. So this is when spray tanning is brand new and not great, and people would come out looking full ass orange.
I mean, that look became very popular in a certain president later on. So, like, I see where his brain stopped developing, maybe.
Well, and this is also like, this is Paris Hilton. That's so hot. The height of that look.
Yes.
Which was tan. And women would go, because a bunch of my sorority sisters used to tan and tan together right at this time.
Weird.
They would go and put stickers on their body so that
I remember that.
you would have tattoos, and it was like a star or a heart that was like
or the Playboy bunny or whatever. Yeah.
Or the Playboy bunny. It was like a deliberate tan, farmer's tan kind of. But yeah, I have never been, because my mom always told me it was terrible for you and terrible for your skin. And that's why I'm so pale, is because I've been indoctrinated into big sunscreen for most of my life. But maybe that's also why I am a vampire and seem not to age.
I do think there's some truth into if you take care of your skin, it like stays healthier longer. Like, yeah.
It stays healthier. If you be staying inside, you may not be getting that vitamin D, but you might look young forever.
Paige, as someone who's currently taking vitamin D supplements, they make supplements for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally, last time I got my blood work done, the only thing my doctor said was, I can't detect if you've ever been in the sun. Like, you've got to start taking vitamin D supplements.
I should, because I don't spend a lot of time in the sun.
He prescribed them. I have a prescription for them because they're like extra strength. This is why I go out every day on my skateboard for about an hour and just get my sun.
There you go. I mean, because I work from home, that's also one of those things where like I have to be conscious of like, I got to leave the house or else I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah, that's I think what it is for me, because I get my ADHD focused and I work all day as it is. So
Right. Anyway, we cut to her at home, and she's trying to not fight with her sister over a bracelet that their grandma gave them. And her sister's ultimately like, just you take it. I feel like you're going through a thing. And when I come visit you in the city, I'll get it back.
Paige, I want to point out that their grandmother did not give it to them. Their grandmother willed it to one of them specifically.
Not Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Exactly. And I was like, okay, did Mary Elizabeth Winstead get like something else that's maybe not an item of clothing that she likes? Like, I wondered if like, did that grandmother just fucking hate Wendy, who's Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character in this movie?
Maybe.
And she willed all of her jewelry to the younger daughter, like granddaughter. I was like, something brutal happened here, and I don't know what it was.
One of my grandmothers is still alive, but is in a facility. And so we've had to kind of go through a lot of her stuff because of that. And then my other grandmother died of dementia, but both while I was an adult. And usually what happens is like there's a few specific jewelry pieces that people are like, I have called dibs on this, and you're like, whatever. And then you end up going through someone's jewelry box and you're like, what is all of this? Like randomness. And then you pick stuff that you like. So like I have a ring that I wear all the time now, along with like my wedding ring and other stuff. And it may have been a great grandmother's ring. We don't know. No one knew anything about the ring. I just found it in my grandma's jewelry box, and it looks like a bow with a little like diamond in the middle of it. And it's the most like Barbie girl coated pink gold jewel ring. And I'm like, give me that. And it's like chunky too. It's bonkers. But I'm like, for some reason. Like, I feel like this translates to moi.
Right. This is definitely a me vibe.
This is a me vibe.
Yeah.
This is me coded.
But grandma actually willed it to the younger granddaughter. So like,
yeah.
she was like, sometimes the pretty jewelry skips a cunty granddaughter. Like, I wonder like what happened between her and Wendy or Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this movie.
I feel like people leave you the thing that they think you want the most.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I've inherited 2 craft rooms, which
I mean, accurate.
here's the thing. Don't hate it. Have used a bunch of it. I actually really kind of like when I can use something that my grandma left me from their craft stash.
Yeah.
That's very fun to me.
It's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I think that's why.
But they really just like put it in the movie so we can reveal later on that, oh my God, she was also
on the
roller coaster.
How did we not remember? Yeah.
Right.
And the trade-off is that she asks to borrow the camera, which prompts Mary Elizabeth Winstead to plug it in and upload all the photos. And this is how she gets the photos that we're going to be working off of for the rest of the movie. But we cut to the tanning salon, where the guy running this tanning salon is having some sort of crisis with someone in his home country.
Right.
We don't know what's going on. And there's like bad cell service. So he's like going out to take calls and coming back in. And he tries to block the door with sunscreen, but that door is heavy enough that it's about to squeeze that bottle and lock him out.
Right.
Because he's like, you guys know how the tanning beds work. No drinks in there that this time, just in case. But you guys handle it. And they lock the door so no one can walk in on them.
Right, because they want to get like topless to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also have the biggest Slurpees I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're like 94 ounces or whatever. Like
no bladder could contain that. It's
No.
like it's a 3-pisser. Like it's crazy. But so they go set up the tanning bedroom, and they're complaining that it's cold. And so she turns the thermostat up, which like, okay, lizard woman.
Yeah, she turns it up to like 74 and then gets in a tanning bed that's hot.
Girl, no, yeah. And she forgot her iPod, so they're playing a CD, and it's disco, and it's Love Roller Coaster, which seems real callous.
I kind of loved it. Although I just like that song. It's a fun song.
That is a great song. Roller coaster.
Yeah.
Oh, no, say what?
I love the say what. It's my favorite.
Roller coaster.
It's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
But predictably, it gets too hot. The drink has condensation on it. It drips onto like the breaker for the conduit for both of the electricity of the tanning beds. They get too hot. These girls be cooking.
Literally.
And while this is happening, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is like immediately putting puzzle pieces together of like, if everyone died, but then this picture, they're at the tanning bed, and like goes to call them to try and stop them to go.
Right.
It's too late. They don't answer. Or rather, it sounds like they answers, but it's a voicemail. And they cook to death in the tanning bed.
They turn into their first 3 letters. They turn into Ash. That's why I wrote that joke. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. I'm pretty sure they're playing the Red Hot Chili Peppers version, not the Ohio Players version in the movie. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was Ohio Players, but only because the CD she picks up is Disco Decade or whatever.
Okay, yeah, maybe it is.
Which would be the Ohio Players.
Yeah.
But like, it could be. I don't know who, depending on the rights. But we cut to their funeral, which again, just like earlier this month, seems to be the next day or same day. They doing these funerals quick.
Paige, I badly wanted their coffins to just be the tanning beds. Like, guys, we couldn't get them out. But also, like, they're already in a box, kind of. We'll just, like, bury them in. It's fine. It's fine, guys. We'll bury them in this. Yeah.
Just saran wrap around it.
Right. It's fine.
Oh, my God. That would have been hysterical. But no. But this is where Frankie Cheeks is like, I shouldn't have pressured them to look so good. Maybe then they wouldn't have tanned. And it's like, what the fuck are you saying? What?
I did love that Frankie Cheeks, not to be outdone by Frankie Cheeks in previous scenes, finds a way to make these 2 Ash girls' death
about him.
It's like, oh my God, I did this. I am like the center of the universe, and everyone is like a character in this play that I direct. Like, he is crazy and dumb the entire movie. And I kind of love it because that is kind of what teenage boys are like sometimes.
I mean, I hope most teenage boys aren't like Frankie Cheeks because, ooh boy, nuke it from orbit.
Right?
But I do love that Lewis is like, man, I'm tired of coming to these funerals, boring as hell. If you have to come to my funeral, bring me a PSP or something, which I thought was hilarious that the dead body would be so bored at a funeral. It's like, hit me with that PSP, dog. So good. But at this point, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is like, hey, she motions to Kevin or texts Kevin, I'm over by Jason's grave. And they have this conversation where she's like, I kind of believe you.
Yeah.
Because I've got these photos. And yes, this is crazy, but I think this is happening. And he's like, sounds good. I have no further questions at all.
I mean, he's kind of the one that brought it to her initially.
Right. But so they go to the drive-through, and as they're kind of locked into this drive-through, there's cars behind them, cars in front of them. They can't really get out. They are waiting to order, and they're trying to figure out who the next person was. Because if it happened in the order that people got off the plane or got on the plane or whatever last time, it's people who died in her premonition. It's that order.
Right.
So she's trying to remember who the order of the cars were on the roller coaster.
Is this the scene where she's like showing her like proof, like the research she's done, and she's like tying it to like things throughout history as well?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, it is. The shadow of death across photos.
Okay, that's this scene?
Yes. Let's fucking talk about it.
Okay, good.
Yes.
It's been killing me because I've been sitting on something since I saw this scene that I've wanted to like yell into a microphone at you because I love what this sets up. And I'll just reveal it up front. She shows a picture of Abraham Lincoln and then says that he was involved in this sort of thing. And this photo proves it because the way the glass broke is the exact path the bullet took or whatever.
Right.
So, Paige, you know me. I'm a history nerd.
Yes.
And I love weird coincidences through history that actually happen. John Wilkes Booth's brother saved Robert Todd Lincoln's life when Robert Todd Lincoln was in a train station in 1864. Literally, the assassin
Todd,
of...
is this
Paige,
the way that we save the Final Destination
Paige,
franchise?
Yes, I want a prequel. That is this movie. I will describe it to you. I will feed you baby bird.
Abraham Lincoln Final Destination?
Yes. Paige, I have been sitting on this the whole time. It's killing me. Listen, okay, let me finish the actual true story that happened very quickly. It's crazy.
While you do this, I'm going to eat that souffle, but go ahead.
Eat it. So, Paige, picture this. It's like old train station. Literally, 1864. We see a young, because he was a child at the time, Robert Todd Lincoln on a train track fall down, and a man saves him. You don't know who that guy is. It turns out to be the guy who ends up killing that child's dad's brother. So it's Edwin Booth, John Wilkes Booth's brother, right? Edwin didn't know who he was.
More famous actor, Edwin Booth.
Yes, at the time, for sure. Later, not so much, but I think that this sets up what could be a very fun, like sort of kind of based in reality prequel of Final Destination where John Wilkes Booth does not kill the president because like he wanted slavery to continue or whatever, but because he had to help save his brother's life.
He's trying to end the chain.
Yeah, he's like trying to break the chain of death, which like we're never going to get that movie because of like John Wilkes Booth was fully a terrible guy, and then it kind of like rewrites history, like he may have not been a bad guy, just had to kill Lincoln to save his brother. But like that to me was wild and hilarious that she used Lincoln specifically. And I don't know if they knew that there was this connection that could have kicked off like a Final Destination style assassination of... I can't believe I'm saying this. Fucking Lincoln. But man, I honestly... Contact me, James Wong. We can negotiate over rights because this movie needs to happen.
Here's what I find hilarious.
You know I'd just give it to him if he'd mentioned me in the credits. You're right. I would. Call me. I'm very cheap.
Here's what I will say. I think it's hilarious that you think this couldn't get made because if you'll recall during our Prey episode, and a lot of people DM'd us about this the last couple weeks, we pitched an expanded Predator universe where predators come and basically fight.
Yes. In Japan. Samurais.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm honestly looking forward to that shit. Like that, I cannot wait to watch that movie.
Well, and we pitched it for like heroes throughout history. Like the most And that's what it is. And so I'm just saying sometimes.
Paige, if you think I wouldn't take a predator in the fucking Roman Colosseum.
Oh my God, give it
against
to me.
A gladiator? Like, what? Come on. One where, like, you want the gladiator to win?
He has that weird laugh, and then it's just like, I am Spartacus.
There are so many fun heroes throughout history where you could do a predator.
But all I'm saying is that you never know who's listening, because we did find out that the guy who directed Prey did hear that episode because he reached out to us on social media and was very cool.
That's right. Yeah.
So we don't know.
So James Wong, honestly, just throw my name in the credits or like kill me in the movie. You can have the premise. I just want to see it. Wait, can I? No changes, no CGI. Can I play Robert Todd Lincoln as a 12-year-old?
Yes. No changes.
No, absolutely not. Don't let me act at all. Just kill me.
Giant lollipop hoop game with a stick. You get it.
I can be one of the passerbys on the train that should have gotten killed and then gets killed first, like immediately after getting no lines.
Yeah. And just like 4 train wheels ago. Yeah. Honestly, let me write it. I'll write Abraham Lincoln Final Destination. Let's fucking go.
We already have Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Why can't we have a fun one? Although I bet Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is fun as shit. How have we not done that?
I know, right?
There's no way there isn't a scene where Abraham Lincoln isn't on the top of a train, like with an axe or like a...
That's in the trailer.
Yeah, okay, perfect. That makes complete sense. Yeah. You've got to go way over the top with that. I bet that's so much fun.
Like throwing axes.
Oh my God. I love it.
It's great. Anyway, we got to talk about the next one, because the Abraham Lincoln one, crazy. I thought it was nuts too.
Yeah.
But then the next photo she shows him is 9/11.
I know, Paige.
A photo that I believe has been debunked as doctored by this point.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, it's definitely photoshopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the plane, you don't see the plane. It's just like the perfect silhouette of the plane on the tower, which is like, that is not the way the sun would reflect the shadow onto the...
Yes.
It's just that, of course, it's photoshopped. But I mean, it's very clear what's happening. Like, you know that photo when you see it, whether it's real or not. You know what they're talking about.
Right.
And that is the murder of Robert Patterson by his father.
Robert Pattinson by his father.
Yeah.
By his
If you guys haven't seen the movie Remember Me, you're missing the best 9/11 theories out there.
Well, by his father, Pierce Brosnan.
Right. By possible MI6 agent Pierce Brosnan.
He was in on it. Where was he that day?
So we shouldn't allow Brits in government. I railed about it on our spy episode on Romance in the Pod. We shouldn't allow it, Paige. We fought a war so we wouldn't have to.
I'm more concerned with the South African fucking up our government right now.
Either way.
Anyway, so they're like, okay, so if it goes in order, where was Frankie? And they don't realize that the person in front of them taking forever
is Frankie
Cheeks. Yeah.
Frankie didn't go to Hollywood. Frankie's in the car in front of you.
In a bright yellow Miata, basically. Like,
it's hard to miss, Paige, is what you're about to say, and you're right.
It's hard to miss.
Yes.
But they get trapped in the drive-thru because like another truck kind of comes alongside them, so they can't pull out.
Another truck comes up beside them and like almost pins them to the side of the... I mean, it's not like actually pinning them, but it's like pretty close to that.
Right. And they see behind them that there's a moving truck that's kind of come off. There's no driver in it. It's coming down the hill. The driver's chasing it.
Yeah.
And this is right after they're like, well, he won that mud flap necklace, so maybe it's something with trucks.
What?
Yes.
I did not hear that line. Okay, wow, that's amazing.
Because they're going through, they're like, what could it be? What's with Frankie or whatever? And he's like, and because they have 2 pictures of Frankie.
Right.
So they're on the first one. The second one is truly what happens to him.
Which is funny, though, because the first one isn't not related, because it is a truck that can drive on its own. But the second one is his head is in front of what is like a fan, and which is what kills him ultimately, because they fight to get out of the truck that they're sort of stuck in, as the runaway truck, never going back, is going up the drive-through, just like crushing the cars in the drive-through line.
Right.
And so they like get on the hood of the truck they're in and jump off right as the car, or I should say the runaway truck, never going back, runs through their truck and then into Frankie, and then
trucksecutions Frankie.
Yeah, it is like a trucksecutioner, because the front of the truck breaks off in the accident, and then the fan in the motor hits the back of Frankie's head, and it's gross, guys. It shows it.
It's awesome. The effects are awesome, though.
They always are. Yeah. That's why people love these movies. Like, if you're like me and like gore doesn't like scare you the most,
right?
I feel like this franchise is for you. And honestly, this movie, because this one, and maybe the second one to some extent, like really let you know when a kill's about to happen.
Yeah.
It's really telegraphed. You like drop into a Mousetrap board game commercial and then someone dies and then we get back to movie.
Yeah.
And I say that and it sounds not great, but I loved it.
I mean, for me, because gore doesn't get me.
Right.
You know, so like, it's not scary for me. And then the screenwriter in me gets mad the whole time.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, so they've now escaped Frankie's death. Frankie can finally say relax.
Thank you so much for acknowledging my Frankie Goes to Hollywood joke. But yeah, so Frankie is like the creepy dude, right? So he's like the guy who was trying to film those girls, flash him on the whatever. So like when he rolled up at the drive-thru, Death wasn't going to hesitate. He just pulled up and was like, yeah, I'll take the headless combo.
Yeah.
Hold the dignity.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And the movie's like, we killed the worst one first. You're welcome. Like, that's how the movie treats it.
Although this guy was like the fourth to die. So,
yeah.
And the hero did an upskirt photo of a girl earlier in the movie. So,
boy, isn't it 2006?
Yeah.
Anyway, at this point, they go back to basically her house to basically go through the photos.
Yeah.
And try to figure out who's next and what's going to happen. They determine that Lewis is probably next, but they haven't figured out how. And so they're going to try and go intervene with Lewis.
And Lewis is where every jock is in high school. He's in the gym workout room.
He's in the gym because he has a 15-year plan to get drafted second round to the Oakland Raiders and then come home with 4 Super Bowl rings, which I think is optimistic for any Raiders fan. And I say that as someone from the Bay.
Yeah. Listen, Paige, I love that your note is, he looked like he could get in the NFL.
Oh, 100%. He could play for the Raiders.
My note is, that team he wants to get drafted by ain't going to win 4 rings.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think what you're doing there is you're underestimating the power someone can develop while pumping iron in a gym with real life swords.
Yeah.
Why are they real? Paige, why are those real at all? They're a prop. That would be like walking into Planet Fitness and them having a gun on the wall.
Well, I think it's also like, it's like in Freaky Tales when Sleepy Floyd walks into his like house dojo and is just like, I'm going to sleep now. And then you just see the wall of weapons that are all real.
Paige, that's a man's home. He's a castle doctor. You're allowed to have your own weapons in your own home. It's weird to me that at a high school, they were like, we're going to put actual swords in a gym with steroid-added out teenagers.
Well, I think it's actually a college because I think it's like...
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't matter. Yeah, why are the swords real?
Yeah, it's just as bad. Yeah.
And they have a full taxidermied bear because I assume they're about to play UCLA because they're like, fuck the Bruins or whatever.
Oh, I thought they were actually just taking turns fucking that bear. I don't know what goes on in college locker rooms. Look at me, I'm 5'9". There's no way I was ever going in one.
This is the real Skull and Bones. You gotta fuck that bear.
No, if it was a Skull and Bones, it'd be a pig and it would be alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I called this kill in my notes Dumb and Dumber leg day because everybody in there is just yelling like they're like on meth and steroids and like pumping iron. Like he dies yelling like fuck death or whatever. It's like that kill in Goldeneye where he's like, I am invincible. And then he gets like burned by the frozen nitrogen. It's just like that, except it's lifting weights and it's a head squish with the weights.
Well, here's the thing. Sadly, this movie came out before DJ Khaled's classic, All I Do Is Win. And if it had not, they would have definitely played that. Because that's his whole, he's like, I never stop. I'm going to get drafted to the Raiders. I'm going to get 4 Super Bowl rings. All I do is win. All I do is win. And then his vigorous weightlifting rattles the swords that slice the cables on his weight machine. And he's sitting up when it happens so it doesn't immediately hurt him. And he's like, woo! But then he sits back and is like, fuck death. All I do is win. And like his head gets smashed.
But imagine, I need someone to go out there and like take that scene and then like on the smash, just like drop in, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. I love that somewhere in 2006, DJ Khaled was watching this movie and it was like, I got a song to write.
I got a song to write. Ludacris on the verse because
yeah, he's like, hey, Chris Bridges, I got to leave after this scene, but like, meet me in my house. We got a song to write after this.
Yes.
He was just out watching a movie with Chris Bridges, Calvin Brodus.
Calvin Brodus.
Sorry, I'm just going to name all the people on that. All that people, like, just use their real names. Everyone's going to be like, who's Calvin Brodus? Anybody, Google it, guys.
We like the U in the 80s.
Yeah,
That song fucking slaps.
I know, it is great.
I wish it wasn't by a man who refuses to eat pussy.
I don't like to eat cats either, Paige.
I mean...
Oh, you mean the... Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, you're right.
It's the only thing I consistently know about DJ Khaled.
Is that his wife is always unsatisfied?
Is that I'm sure his wife isn't happy.
But either way, Lewis dies.
Lewis dies.
All he does is win, I guess.
He goes to that big weight room in the sky.
Yeah.
Anyway, so McKinley and Aaron, they determine are next on the ride. And they both work at essentially a Home Depot. So they go to try and stop them at the Home Depot.
Hang on one second. Oh, you mean Ian McKinley. I forgot his last name was McKinley. Yeah,
McKinley.
You're right. And they do call him McKinley, but I forgot. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I was thinking it was like, why? I was like, it's a guy and a girl. It's not two girls, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, and there's a scene at the beginning at the high school when they've all got their yearbooks, and he's like, isn't it weird that my name is the same as my high school's name?
Yes, yeah, which is McKinley High.
Which is just to set up the kill at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're restocking stuff at the end of the night at Home Depot. Kev and Elizabeth Winstead, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, show up, and they're like, hey, we're going to lay out this Final Destination thing for you. And they're like, oh, yeah. Right.
Sure.
Meanwhile, they're in like a murder factory.
I know. They literally are in a Rube Goldberg murder factory.
Which I can't even track how many. This is one of the ones that is too convoluted because you can't even track the through line of exactly how it happens.
But they are showing a lot of it like it's a mousetrap commercial.
Right.
And then you're like, wait, how does this connect to what we were? Okay, whatever.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
But it's like, who's going to die? Is McKinley going to die or is Aaron going to die? Right.
And they have the picture that suggests that Aaron is going to get shot.
Right.
And there's a banner that says kill, but then there's also his finger pointing up. So it's like stakes. So she looks up. He's forklift certified, but he's not doing it great. Knocking shelves and shit.
Yeah.
A whole box of like lawn stakes goes to fall. And so Mary Elizabeth Winstead pulls him away and is like, quick, dodge that. Like, that's going to kill you. They dodge out of the way, but in doing so, a bunch of other stuff falls on them and ultimately knocks Aaron back against the nail gun, which shoots many, many nails through her head.
Yeah. Which, like, she has been dressing like she worked at Hot Topic this whole movie, so I wasn't shocked when death chose her to nail.
Yeah. Or when she became the next Pinhead.
She did sort of become the next Pinhead, you're right.
Yeah. I have such white paints to show you. Like, it's just all Home Depot employees trying to avoid helping people.
When Home Depot started hiring horror actors, I stopped going. I was like, I cannot again be told that paints are on aisle 9.
1, 2.
Well, now you're just doing the Count from
3.
Sesame Street, which I guess technically is a horror character, but we all know he'd be the cashier.
Oh, yeah. Until they got the self-checkouts and he's like, what? How will I survive on my pension?
Let me count my hours. None.
None. Oh, that's cold. He should have started a vampire-themed bar like the guys in True Blood. Anyway, so she now dead. I guess Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character is Wendy?
It is Wendy. They call her Wen, though, which is very cute. Because, like, when's she gonna die, Paige?
When's she gonna die, though?
At the end.
Aaron dead, though. Super dead.
Yeah. Death nailed her.
But before that happened, McKinley brought up something that was like, so if the person at the end of the chain killed themselves, did that stop the chain? And they're like, we can't talk about it right now. Dive!
Oh, my God. Is the end of the prequel that I pitched, is the final scene like an emotional scene between Abraham Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth, where he is just pleading Abraham Lincoln to take his own life to save his brother Edwin's life? And how does he convince him to do that? Like, oh my God, I love this. But that gives me the name of the movie. Oh my God, it's coming to me, Paige.
Okay.
Final Destination, The Booth Job.
Ooh.
Because you're like, oh wait, John Wilkes Booth, he got shot in a booth. There's a lot of fun there, right?
Yes.
Call me James Wong. Let's go.
See, I was going to go with Final Destination Emancipation.
Oh, also a solid title. Yeah.
Ugh.
Emancipation Nation.
I'm good at titles most of the time.
Yeah, you'd be good at marketing, honestly. Most comics are.
Anyway, the police interview them on this one, because obviously.
Because it's about fucking time, Paige. This is the, 7th kill. No joke. If 9 of your friends died in not, taking their own life situations, quote, accidents, I think the cops would start looking into the people who were surviving in that friend group.
Right.
At least to, ask some questions.
I mean, it's wild when they don't do it in Jennifer's body, where,
Yes.
no one talks to anybody.
Right. Did no one call the cops and be like, hey, Jennifer, of the title of the movie we're in, she showed up at school all bloody, and now people are dead. And they're just like, oh.
Through the tree.
That's what it was. They were just blasting that song from One Tree Hill or whatever, so they couldn't hear the complaints about the dead kids.
Yeah. They're like, no.
And I'll say this, that song does slap. When we made that meme of you and I at the concert holding up the Your Music Saved Me to him playing it, I wasn't joking. I love that song.
Anyway, they get out of the police station because the police are like, we have no evidence, but you've been at all these killings, which means we have to question you.
Right. We don't know that you did it, but what the fuck is happening to you
fuck
guys?
is
Can you
happening?
tell me what's happening? I don't know. That's if I was a cop that was asked to investigate this is where I would start too.
I'm just picturing them being like, and what kind of eyes? Okay, great. And forehead, how tall was he? And then we turn the the sketch around, it's just the Grim Reaper. It's Ghostface.
Paige, I thought you were and then their follow-up question is, so could you not reach it? Did you, when you went under it, did you not slap the ball? There's a sign to slap the
gotta
balls
slap
as
the
you
balls.
go under. You have to slap them and then you're safe.
Yeah.
That's why they kick those kids off the ride, because they know they're too short to slap the balls.
Right. And if you slap the balls, they don't let Death bring his scythe on the roller coaster. So no loose items.
Exactly.
It's not loose them balls. You got to slap them so they tighten up.
Honestly, that's what happens when you slap them. I hate it. It hurts.
I have a friend who once admitted to me that they like a little tug and slap in that regard. And I was like, why do I know this about you now?
I mean, because he's an oversharer. There are people who do. I am not necessarily one of them.
I was like, I'm never going to need to know this information, but filed away.
I think you do need to know it, and here's why. If you're ever I want to hurt this person, you now know don't kick him in the balls. He's just going to like it.
He's just going to be like, yes. Yeah. Anyway, so they then go back to the photos. And admittedly, Kevin has not wanted to see his photo this entire time. But he's like, I think now we gotta.
Right.
I need you to tell me what my photo is. And it looks like it's overexposed, almost like he's been hit by a firework or something, an explosion of light.
There's a bright light going off. We don't see that light going off. We just see the reflection of it off his face. Right. So that's what's happening. And he does ask when he's on the phone, and he looks up and he's like, oh, you mean at a firework fair or whatever? And they're like, welcome to the Tricentennial Firework Fair or whatever.
Yes.
This is where he sees Ben Franklin, though. And he's like, fuck you, Ben Franklin. And I paused it and I was like, what did he just say? And I rewound it twice.
As if Ben Franklin invented fireworks.
Right?
Which he did not.
That is in no way related. That could have been Helen Keller talking about the Miracle Worker movie or whatever. And he would have been like, fuck you, Helen Keller. Because it is also not at all related to anything that's happening in this movie at all.
At all.
This guy just hates Ben Franklin.
Well, and literally right after this, we see the Rube Goldberg of this assassination start to take place. Where a cannonball dislodges a trailer, there's fireworks. Someone has a horse near fireworks and is going to light off little M80s and stuff.
Which is, guys, one of the only things I know about horses is they don't like to be startled. That's one thing that horses and I share.
It's the main thing to know about horses.
Do not take a horse to a firework festival, you monster.
Why would you do that?
That's like taking a shell-shocked vet to a firework, or your dog to a firework festival. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Meanwhile, we also find out that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is looking at the photos. She's kind of fallen asleep on her desk. Her sister steals the bracelet back. And when she wakes up, she realizes that the next person in line has their hand up in the photo and it has the bracelet, which means it's her sister.
Yeah, this is the sister reveal.
Right. So now she's got to go to this tricentennial, fuck you, Ben Franklin, to try and save her sister because her sister's going to get hurt first. And as she tries to do that, someone spooks the horse. The horse runs. It has like a rope attached to it with like a hook, which grabs and drags her sister. So her sister's about to strangle to death. But then the horse jumps over farm equipment. So it's about to drag her sister through like a thresher. And Kevin magically shows up with a sword to cut that rope before that happens.
Yeah, it's lucky he was there because if he wasn't, she would have been pulled into that thresher, which I honestly kind of expected,
Yeah,
I didn't think they would save her just because it's the main character's sister. Like that family dies all the time in horror movies. So I was a little surprised that she survived. Like I was honestly shocked that after we see her sister fucking around with the horse for like 30 seconds, that it's Perry that got penetrated.
Yes. Yeah. Because, because Mr. Hands was quick with that sword.
Exactly.
Perry was sitting next to her on the roller coaster and is blocked in the photo, so they didn't know who it was. And she gets impaled by a flag. She like insta-dead.
Yeah.
But as that's happening, Kevin gets like knocked over a table where a barbecue skewer flies, punctures one of the gas lines, it ignites. The flame goes up in his face, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead drags him out before he like burns.
Right. She saves his life.
Also, we didn't note because it's very brief. While she was driving to the Tricentennial, McKinley was following her.
Yes. He has now like lost his mind because he's a child kind of and has experienced a lot of people close to him dying in freak accidents. So like he does kind of become a villain, but like he also is a victim in this whole thing. He has fully lost his mind though. Don't get me wrong. He's a dangerous person at this point.
Yes. And so her picture is just her next to Jason, whose face is blurry, and she's wearing a McKinley sweatshirt. So she's like, it's something about McKinley. And she's like, oh my God, McKinley causes my death.
Right.
And so I love McKinley's speech here.
Me too.
Of like, oh, do I cause your death? I don't care because I'm not going to die. It's already skipped me. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And I was like, oh, this is a fantastic twist that we should have explored more in this movie, because the idea of someone who is an instrument of death against their own will, super interesting. But they immediately just kill him Patches O'Houlihan style with a sign from the high school that says McKinley.
It's great. I love the way he dies. I love the way they show it. I love the monologue beforehand because it set up a premise that I think plays into the final franchise, the Booth Job television sequels, where he plays now, he being Edwin Booth. He plays an immortal who goes town to town solving problems like the Incredible Hulk TV show or like Kung Fu back in the day.
Of course.
Because of Lincoln's sacrifice, it skipped him and now he can't die.
I mean.
But McKinley sets up the premise of like, I'm immortal because death skipped me. And then death is like, fuck, no, you're not. And then kills him.
Nah, bruh. How about nah?
So when I was thinking that, I was like, oh, no, never mind. He was an idiot. He just didn't know what he was talking about because he's 17 or whatever. Of course, he was wrong about this.
Yep. So we cut to 5 months later. Wendy's on a train in New York and she starts to get the same kind of premonition. And she's like, I should get off the train. And she doesn't.
Because she has the public transit premonition problem, right?
Right.
And I realized that was an alliteration and I did not mean it, but it's still true.
It is still true. And who should get on the train but her sister, so she doesn't get off the train.
Right.
Now they're both there, but also Kevin's on the train. So it can even kill them in the order they were supposed to die.
Perfect moment for a Tony Todd cameo is right before the fade to black in the credits. It shows the conductor of that train as Tony Todd.
Or it shows him on the platform as the doors close.
That would be great too. And just like looking at the camera, knowing smile on his face, like,
bees everywhere.
Yes.
But I'll burn a fun fact here because I thought it was the most interesting fun fact I found. This scene with the train, it was also supposed to reveal that the two survivors from 1 and 2 were also on the train.
What? That would have been nuts.
So it would kill all of them at once, but they couldn't get all the schedules to sync up.
The original title for Final Destination was Final Destination 3, this time death takes care of its business.
Yeah. Taking care of
Yeah.
it. Which then they could have ended the movie with taking care of business, and that would have been fucking hilarious. But originally they tested the ending of her surviving and it ending at the tricentennial, and that ending tested really badly.
Yeah.
So then they added this scene, tried to get everyone, couldn't. But so the train, it's a brutal train crash.
Yeah.
They all die. She tries to pull the emergency brake. They still die. And then this movie ends with Love Train, a horrible cover of Love Train. And that's the movie.
Paige, I laughed out loud when the horrible cover of Love Train started, and I was like, hell yes. Because it is, the song that they reference in the tanning booth scene is Love Roller Coaster, and this is Love Train. And I do want to say, I did look it up because I still had the question mark of which version they used, and it is the original Ohio Players in the tanning bed scene. This is obviously not at all related because this is a terrible version of Love Train.
Yes, and Love Train is a great song, and it's really upsetting how bad that covers. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train.
It's great. But, Paige, having seen the movie and we talked about the movie, what do you think about Final Destination 3?
I mean, it is, in fact, a movie.
It is, yeah. Okay, Paige, I agree with a lot of your criticisms of it. I think because it's not as scary for me, and because the kills are kind of cool and fun and Rube Goldberg-y, I kind of like this movie. Like, I'd probably watch this again because it's not very scary.
I don't hate it.
And it's just like interesting. I probably wouldn't like watch it to like watch it. But like if it was on and I was like folding laundry, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'll ride with this.
Yeah.
I'll do what they do in this movie at the beginning where they look at a roller coaster with their best friend and they're like, hey, Ryden dies. Let's get on this and do both.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Such a stupid word joke. Okay, but Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, it is with your fun facts.
Slap nuts fun facts. The cast members on the roller coaster had to ride it 26 times in one night in order to shoot the film's main premonition scene.
Can I give you a fact that's going to blow your mind knowing what you know about how I feel about roller coasters?
Uh-huh.
When I was 13, I was at Opryland because it still existed at the time. And there was a roller coaster called the Wabash Cannonball that had 2 loop-de-loops in it, and it rained. And we were there. Our dad used to drop us off at the park, and that was our childcare. We had like season tickets, and he would give us like $20. He's like, buy lunch. I'll see you at 5.
Yikes.
I'm not even joking. And we would be there 3 days a week, all day. So one day it rained. We were sort of stranded there. Everyone else left the park. So we just rode the Wabash Cannonball 15 times back to back.
Oh my God.
Before they told us, like, okay, you have to get off. Like, you're not allowed to ride it. I know there's no one in line. You can't, you have to get off and at least go through line again. So we got off and went through line again and rode it 6 more times.
Jesus Christ.
And then we were over it. Now, I think my issues with roller coasters started after the accident. Because, like, I was fine at 13.
I think that is very likely.
Yeah.
And I also think it may be, I think I've talked about it on the show before, where I damaged my inner ear as a teenager.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
And it's after that I got a lot more sensitive to like being on boats and motion sickness.
Yeah, like equilibrium stuff, because it, plays into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were in an accident that probably maybe fucked up your back, neck, any number of things.
I honestly think it's more like just mental health stuff.
That too.
The feeling that the loop gives you is the closest I've ever felt to how I felt when I was flying through the air.
Oof.
Because I was in the bed of the truck. I was thrown from the bed of the truck into the middle of the street. So like I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
I also don't like turbulence because of that. Because the feeling of weightlessness, like unexpected weightlessness, it like triggers me. I hate it.
I hate it on planes. Love it on Tower of Terror.
Well, because it's a safe way to experience that. Like I understand why people like them because it is a safe way to get that feeling, which can be fun. It's just not fun for me because it triggers like, I have an emotional response to it that like makes me sick.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, not to dig into the mental health issues that cause me to not like roller coasters, but Paige, please continue with your fun fact.
Yeah. So Tony Todd, as we mentioned, plays William Bloodworth in Final Destination 1 and 2, which is basically the personification of death. And in this movie, he does provide the voice of the devil above the entrance to the roller coaster. Nice balls. And he also provides the speaker's voice saying, on the train, this is the end of the line.
Yeah.
So he is still present, but yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the scenes in the home improvement store were shot in an actual store, and they had to put all the stuff back on the shelf.
That's kind of funny.
And they had to turn objects around to hide brand names.
Yeah. Because if you don't, you have to pay for the rights to use them or gray them out.
And some people just won't give you the rights
Yeah.
if they don't
Yeah.
want to be associated with, quote, a teen death film, which is some of the notes that they got. Now, because this is a time when DVDs were still a thing, this is one of the films where the director partnered with the DVD team. So there were special features that had different outcomes of different scenes that you could watch on the DVD.
Wild.
Yep.
That's like a choose your own adventure Final Destination. That's amazing.
Yep. So like both the first and second movies, the disaster death, basically that original one, is foreshadowed in the opening credits. In this one, it's a pinball machine, but it seems to follow the same track as the roller coaster. So
Fair enough. I mean, they do have like those metal tracks of the pinball. That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Which you're sort of forced to watch all 3 minutes of it because it's at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of the roller coaster footage was filmed on the Corkscrew at Playland, which is part of the Pacific National Exhibition in Vancouver, British Columbia. The actual ride is much tamer and slower. It only contains a double corkscrew, no loops, as opposed to Devil's Flight, which was added. Those loops were added with CG.
Okay.
And applied to a standalone roller coaster set that they would kind of sub in.
Sure. And I bet it was like a very controlled environment because that's where they had to do the stunts where they were like hanging upside down and all that
Right.
stuff. So I bet it was like, like the trapeze nets under it. So like
Yeah.
they're probably harnessed into, they've got to be safe to shoot it. So that makes sense.
Well, and that's why the loop is like its own standalone thing. Yeah.
It was probably on a soundstage, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. Chris Lemke had to drive the forklift, or had to take forklift driving lessons for 2 days to learn how to drive one.
I love that his character, as like a plot point, drives it badly in the movie, but he had to like learn how to do it right before they'd let him pretend to do it badly.
Yep.
That's so funny.
So references to presidential assassinations include the name and town of the high school, McKinley.
Yep.
The names of the subway stations, Booth and Oswald.
Yep.
The map in the subway shows Ruby Drive, 63rd, and Hiddell stations. Oswald used the name Alec J. Hiddell and was killed by Jack Ruby.
Yeah.
Additionally, Abraham Lincoln's assassination is mentioned in the film. And then also what we brought up.
And also is going to be the best Final Destination like prequel ever because it's going to have an emotional core.
Yep.
And it also shows why death has not come for anybody like this for almost 200 or 100 years.
Yeah.
A little over 100 years because of Lincoln's sacrifice, guys.
Exactly. Now, in the original script, the character of McKinley was a female character who tried avoiding her boyfriend. And Aaron was a male character.
Interesting. Okay. They flipped that.
Which I think is also super interesting. It's weird that they flipped that. And then I'm going to end on this because it might be the most fun fact about this movie. In Japan, this film is referred to as Final Dead Coaster.
I love Japan so much. My best friends are there right now. Shout out to Lee and Whitney.
Jealous.
This is their third trip there. My first trip there was with them. I can't wait to go again. Love Japan. And they know how to retitle movies. I love it. That's amazing.
Yes. And those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Final Destination 3?
So this is the third in a franchise that had already had two very successful movies. So I'm going to guess they gave him some money to do this. This is probably at least 40 mil.
Paige, it's a good budget. It's not quite 40 mil.
Sure.
It was $25 million.
This looks good for 25 mil.
I agree. And Paige, just for fun, as I always do, I adjusted it for inflation. Your original guess, $40 million. If you adjust for inflation, that $25 million is $39.8
That's what's up.
million.
I'm pretty good at this game sometimes.
You are pretty good. We've been doing it a while, so it's paying off. All the reps, they've been paying off. This movie came out February 10th, 2006. And it was number 2 in the theater the weekend it came out. There were 4 movies that were released that weekend. All of them were in the top 5. The number 1 movie was The Pink Panther, also released that weekend. Number 2 was, of course, Final Destination 3. Number 3 also released that weekend, but was 3rd, and that was Curious George. Number 4 was a new movie again that weekend called Firewall. And then number 5 was not a new movie, and it was When a Stranger Calls.
Ooh, okay.
Paige, what do you think Final Destination made in its opening weekend?
I'm going to say 19 million.
God damn it. It was exactly $19.1 million. You crushed it.
I had a premonition.
By the way, Pink Panther only made $20.2 million. So it only made $1.1 million more than Final Destination 3. So it was pretty close.
And I saw that Pink Panther movie. It was not good.
I love Steve Martin.
I do.
I don't love that movie.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Just watch, Three Amigos instead or something.
Yeah, agreed. But Final Destination was in the theaters for a total of 10 weeks. It was in the top 5 for its first 2 weeks. It was in the top 10 for its first 3 weeks because it was 7th in its third week. It was never again in the top 10 after that. What do you think it brought in domestically in those 10 weeks?
$57 million.
You're so close. It was $54 million, but Paige, internationally, it also brought in 58.7. So this is a $100 million movie. It brought in $112.7 million in 2006 when it was in theaters. Now, again, that is worldwide. It only brought in $54 million domestically. And typically, especially at the time, you were really only considered a successful film if you had made back more than your budget, sort of 2x your budget.
Which this did.
In the domestic market, which it did. Yeah, so this movie is considered a successful entry in the franchise for sure.
That's why we have a million of them and they're all the same.
And they're going to make more. Yeah, they're going to make so many more. And Paige, I can give you the breakdowns right now.
Sure.
So Paige, this is going to get sort of confusing because the way Final Destination names their movies is hella confusing.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to stack them by who made the most at the box office based upon which movie, right?
Sure.
So the movie The Final Destination, which is not the first one.
No, that's the 6th one, I think.
It came out in 2009. That one brought in the most at $187 million. It was then Final Destination 5 that brought in $155 million, and then Final Destination 3 that we just talked about brought in $112. The first movie that's just called Final Destination, confusing no one, that one brought in $112 million as well. So this movie brought in a little bit more, but almost exactly the same as the original Final Destination.
Damn.
And then Final Destination 2 was less than this, and we'll see where Final Destination: Bloodlines ends up when it comes out later this year. It comes out in May. It's soon.
Yes. Bloodlines is 6. The Final Destination is 4. Final Destination 5 is 5. That's what it is.
This is not at all confusing, and thank you so much for not numbering your movies this way. But Paige, that is your box office. Do you want to hit us with that scary scale?
Sure. Our scary scale is a scale of how scary we found the movie today when we watched it, with 1 being Ghostbusters, 10 being Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Todd, where does this fall for you?
This is a 1. It did not scare me at all because they set up all the kills way in advance, and I honestly liked it because of that. So I know a lot of people don't like it when I'm not scared, but I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a 1 for me as well.
Yeah.
For very similar reasons.
Yeah, that checks out. So, Paige, this week you made us watch, the listeners made us watch Final Destination 3. And guys, thank you so much for that. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
But, Paige, what are we doing next week as we start a new month and a new theme?
I'm not going to start a new month yet because I got a fucking bone to pick. Y'all.
This is where Paige gets the movie she wanted y'all to pick for sequel month. Is that what you were going to do? I swear.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a bonkers ass sequel that we have done. Not only the original movie that would allow us to do the sequel, we've also done the reboot of the original movie that would allow us to do a sequel. And somehow, every time we do a sequel month, y'all forget Pet Sematary 2 exists. So we're going to do Pet Sematary 2.
I was literally sitting here like, what fucking movie is she talking about? I don't even know what franchise this could be. And I have heard some insane things about PS2, baby.
PS2.
So guys, your homework for next week is to watch, I almost said PlayStation 2, watch Pet Sematary 2 and then report back for that bonkers of an episode where we may very well roll out to heaven.
Autobots transform into an angel. That was the other one.
Yeah. So that's your homework for next week.
Hey, do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. And I actually am going to read a 5-star Apple review because I honestly haven't been looking them up because it takes a little bit longer to find. And I'm sorry, I've been neglecting them. Thank you guys so much for leaving them. It does help. So please continue doing that. I promise. I will read them like I'm going to read Laurel's. It's Laurel. Is that Laurel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. So I'm going to read Laurel's, and the title of her review is just Jackpot.
Okay.
And I'm going to read it the way I think it would sound if I had written it. Okay. Sometimes you get really lucky, and after listening to podcasts for 10 plus years, and you think you've listened to everything you would want to listen to, but after that 10 years, you then stumble across a true gem that is like, has a backlog of hundreds of episodes that are just pure gold. If you have not listened, but enjoy really fun people recapping good and really bad movies, this podcast is for you. Cannot recommend this enough. Also, their rom-com podcast is fantastic as well. So, Laurel, thank you so much for that awesome 5-star review. And if you want to have me read your 5-star review or your Spotify comment, which we did get some Spotify comments on our most recent episode that I thought were like great.
Okay.
Some of them were talking about how we talked about, because it was a Quiet Place too, right?
Sure.
And we talked about how the things we wanted from day one.
Wanted from day one that apparently we won't get.
And apparently we were wildly wrong, and people were like, man, you guys are going to hate day one.
Turns out y'all accidentally wrote a better movie.
I don't know if I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that was definitely the vibe of the comments. Well, I do want to watch it though, so we'll do that episode eventually. Yeah, like I hope you guys are wrong, but I fear you're right. There was also a few comments about like how I went to a pretty emotional place at one point in the episode, and I had to go back and re-listen to it, and I was like, I don't remember talking about this, but okay. Anyway, check out the A Quiet Place episode if you didn't listen to it. But anyway, if you want to have me read your 5-star review or Spotify comment, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that, guys. So guys, if you like this show but want to hear Paige and I talk about romantic comedies or just regular romantic movies, check out our other podcast. Some might call it a sister podcast called Romancing the Pod, where we do just that weekly. It's a lot like this show, but for romance and romantic comedies, because Paige doesn't like them. So we make her watch them, just like you guys make me watch horror over here. But if you want to follow me, I am at Todd J. Awesome on all the social media. Paige is at Rampage Wesley on Instagram?
Yes, and TikTok.
And just Paige Wesley on Twitter, because you got that before some CEO lady, and she wanted it, but you wouldn't give it back, and I respect you for that.
Refuse.
Also, Paige
Suck it, other Paige Wesley.
Paige is also on another podcast. It's great. You should check it out. It's called Cult Podcast with Armando Torres, who is a wonderful person. And if you want to support this show, go to Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where there are a lot of great levels and a lot of great things. We do the Patreon shout outs at the beginning of every episode. We do listener requests, stuff like that, bonus episodes. So you'll be getting all of that content, plus episodes a day early with no ads, and who doesn't love that? So sign up for the Patreon and get a lot of great stuff.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ooky spooky.
Yeah. Have an amazing week, guys. Bye! I can't wait to watch Pet Sematary 2, nerds!